Why do we want to keep weighing, stepping on the scales when we're trying to maintain our weight? We've gone through a fat loss stage and we've hit the weight goal that we're trying to hit, or we've hit the body composition that we're after. Going forward, we want to try and maintain the look. So we've worked really hard. Say we worked for 12 to 24 weeks to try and lose the weight we've lost. Maybe some of you have kind of done this for years or for a long period of time. What do we do? Why are we going to still ask you in this period of time to keep weighing yourself? A lot of people struggle with staying the same weight. I just want to maintain my current weight. I like the way I look. People say that to me all the time. I get a lot of clients who, every time they get to their weight goal, this is one of the statements I hear often. So one common problem that I see is people are either on the diet or they're either off the diet. When dieting, people have a certain way of eating and they have things that they do daily. So every week and every day, they do things to help them achieve their goal, to lose the weight that they want to achieve. So again, people are either on the diet or off the diet. And when they're on the diet, all that means is they have a certain way of eating. As soon as the diet is done, they change their behaviors, they change their conditions, and that helped them to lose weight. So if I was previously walking 10,000 steps and I was eating 1,500 calories to lose weight, I would change those conditions because I'm no longer trying to do that. So I may stop walking as much and I may start eating a bit more. And they wonder why they started to regain weight. Now, a lot of it is because not only just the kind of thermodynamics of how weight loss occurs in the fact of eat less, move more, it also comes down to behaviors and habits. So they regain the weight because they return to behaviors and habits and conditions that cause them to gain weight in the first place. So all they are doing is just returning to what they previously had done, and what they previously had done had caused them to gain the weight that they caused, to gain the weight that they gained. So the habits and behaviors that helped us to lose weight will also help us to maintain. So when you are coming into a maintenance phase, you've just lost the weight you wanted to lose, rather than thinking you're now coming off of the diet, you're now just adjusting your current diet. So when you learn to lose weight, one of the things you're learning to do is you're learning the habit of losing weight. You're learning what your lifestyle was before that caused you to gain the weight. And now you're learning what your lifestyle needs to be in order for you to lose the weight. And now we need to find, what is the lifestyle I need to leave? What are the habits I need to have to help me to maintain? When people gain weight, and they can't lose weight, this is why. They have zero focus, zero rules, zero restriction, and a zero plan. They just come completely off. Everything they were doing, they throw out the window. When people lose weight, this is why. 100% of the focus, a lot of rules, a lot of restriction, a short-term and a long-term plan. So they are lasered in on what they're trying to do. They have rules around what they're doing from a food and training perspective, and they have restriction. And they have a short-term and a long-term plan of what they're going to do each day and each week. When people maintain weight, this is why. 70% of their focus is still on the goal of maintaining weight. Anyone that I know who is in decent shape or has maintained a good shape over years basically has still got focus around their nutrition, like a massive focus. And they still got a massive focus on movement. They still got a massive focus on all of it. They have some rules around what they do, and they have some restriction. They still have a short-term and long-term plan. So for me, for example, like, if I think about me in this current maintenance phase, what are some of the rules that I have? Well, some of the rules that I have is I'm going to have protein in every meal. That's going to be a big thing for me. The focus on my nutrition means that I'm going to still meal prep. I'm going to still buy the foods and order the foods that I want to eat. So I'm eating whole, healthy foods. And I'm going to have a short-term and long-term plan. What am I going to eat each week? What am I going to eat each day? How long is this going to go on for? But Charlie, what does it mean to maintain weight? I'm glad you asked. What it means to maintain weight is we stay the same weight on average, okay? So it means that we stay the same weight on average throughout the week. If I weigh myself every morning, when we take our weight, we're going to take it in the morning and we're going to take it first thing, but we're also going to measure it over the week. And what we're going to do is, rather than taking our day-to-day fluctuations, because you can fluctuate 1 to 2% of your body weight, what we're actually going to do is we're going to take the average from the week. So when someone eats a maintenance calories, they are basically eating the same amount of calories that their body is burning. So for them to stay the same weight on average throughout the week, they're basically eating the same calories that they are burning on the day-to-day. So no weight is gained. But we need to keep an eye on one thing we are trying to maintain. And this is why we must continue to weigh. If we didn't look at our bank accounts for a year and spent money based off feel, we would all end up with different amounts of money at the end of the year. Some of us would be skint, Some of us have a lot of money. Some of us would be around the same that we started, right? But the way we manage our money is to look at what we have and to budget the rest. So what do I have? Where does a big part of my money go? Goes out on bills. What do I do with the rest? How do I spend it? But we can't budget without knowing where we are. The only way I have managed to stay the same weight or to help clients stay the same weight is to get them to continuously weigh. This way, pun intended, we can keep an eye on the things that make changes. We can keep an eye on the things that make changes a lot quicker. Imagine 3 different people. One checks their bank account every morning and night. The second person checks their bank account every month. And the third person checks their bank account every year. Who would be able to quickly adjust their spending? So out of those 3, someone who checks their bank account every morning and night, someone who checks their bank account every month, and someone who checks their bank account every year, who would be able to adjust their spending quickest? Well, it's going to be this geezer, the first one, the guy who checks it the most, okay? The same thing applies to weight. Imagine 3 different people. One checks their body weight every morning, one checks their body weight every month, and one checks their body weight every year. Who would be able to adjust their diet quickly? Who would be able to make the changes quicker? Same motherfucker. The same geezer who's really good with his money is going to be really good with his calories. Reason is because he's checking it all the time. And what is that? It's focus. It's keeping an eye on things. It's not being head in the sand. It's being aware of what's going on. So what do I recommend? How do we do it? What's the plan? When you're losing weight, you are trying to do these things basically. So when you're losing weight, you're probably doing these things. You're probably tracking your food and having a daily calorie target. You're eating healthy. You are saying no to meals out and drinks with friends. You're weighing yourself. You're taking progress photos. You're training hard. You're hitting a daily steps target. You're weighing yourself daily. You are strict, restricting food and not being as social. Periods of time being strict on your diet are needed to lose weight. You have to be strict. But this comes at the expense of your life and the things that you enjoy. I understand that. I'm with you, gang. I agree. Sometimes dieting can be really boring. So you want to be able to enjoy those things more when you're not on a diet. Okay? So I've just dieted and I've lost weight and I've got down to the weight I want to get to. We want to enjoy it. But the problem is, the conditions that cause you to gain weight in the past will cause you to gain weight now. So you can't go back to what you've previously done. We need to have new conditions, some level of restriction, but some freedom to enjoy the things that we have sacrificed in order to lose the weight. So we just need to find a new normal and a new balance. This is why I recommend a weight range. So if you finish your diet 65 kilos and want to maintain that weight, I recommend that you now know, so because you know, if you finish your diet at 65 kilos and you want to maintain that weight, know that your body weight fluctuates, that 1 to 2% that I said earlier. That's why we weigh daily, but take the weekly averages. So that body weight is going to fluctuate 1 to 2%, which means your actual maintainable weight is around 64.35 kilos and 65.65 kilos, okay? So based on 1%, that fluctuation, even though on average I'm 65 kilos when I finish my diet, I'm actually somewhere between this. So I have this little range. So it's not necessarily I am 65 kilos. I am somewhere between 64.35 and 65.65 based on 1%. If we base it off 2%, it's a bit of a bigger range. It's 63.7 kilos all the way up to 66.3. So there's this fluctuation that we have, and that's what we think about as our maintenance. This is our maintainable weight. So when we look at weighing daily, but we base it off of our weekly averages, okay? So we weigh daily, but we base it off of our weekly averages. It means that this could be what our week looks like. Monday, 65 kilos. Tuesday, 66 kilos. Wednesday, 65. Thursday, 65.5. Friday, 63.5. Saturday, 64. Sunday, 65. There's this big fluctuations going on, which means our weekly average is around 64.85 kilos. So this is within that 1 to 2% fluctuations of what I would recommend you do once you've lost the weight. Is you set yourself a maintenance range. So set yourself a range that you are happy within. For me, it is 2% fluctuations, which look like, so 2% fluctuations either way of the weight that you finish your diet in. If I finish at 65 kilos, I'm going to allow myself 2% fluctuations either way to say that I'm happy and that I'm maintaining. So 65 kilos is our goal maintenance weight, but our body weight range would be somewhere from 63.7 kilos all the way up to 66.3. This way, if our daily average body weight across the week enters 66.4 kilos plus, I would start to adjust my diet. This is why we weigh. We have a good idea of what's going on. We keep an eye on it. The way you adjust your diet is to start implementing the habits and conditions and behaviors that help you to lose weight in the past. So if you've done something that worked, you just repeat what you did that worked. When you're losing weight, you are tracking your food and having daily calorie targets. You are eating healthy. You are saying no to meals out and drinks with friends. You're weighing yourself. You're taking progress photos. You're training hard. You're hitting daily steps targets. You're weighing yourself daily. You're restricting food and not being asocial. But this time, you only have to do it for a few weeks to drop back to your target body weight range. And that's the fluctuation. That's how we keep an eye on it. That's how we make changes quickly. We just make adjustments, small micro adjustments, by being aware and keeping an eye on things. This is why we weigh. Why though? This is why a diet is not something you do to lose weight. It is a lifestyle change that implements the habits and behaviors of someone who can maintain their weight and look. Awareness is the key. Don't bury your head in the sand. The importance of weighing when you're trying to maintain. Ta-da! My name's Charlie. This is Hat the Body, Hat the Mind. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, you're doing well. Just know that those are the reasons why we maintain our weight. Long story short, you just have these fluctuations that occur all the time. And if you have a weight range, you can have a target that you stick within. You take your weekly averages, you maintain that, and then you make adjustments by returning to the things that you've done that helped you to lose weight. It's as simple as that. Like, just return to the habits and behaviors that are helping you to do the things you're trying to do.